Hi, I'm Vicki Westling, here with City Speaks. City Speaks is a show that is the vision of Mayor Rosas. Mayor Rosas wanted to ensure that we had transparency within his organization, that you, the resident, was aware of what was going on. If you have questions, if you have comments, if you have concerns, he wants to know about them. So send those things to me, Vicki Westling, at City Hall, 342 Central Avenue, Dunkirk, 14048. You can email them to me at vwestling@cityofdunkirk.com, or you may call me directly, 363-6888. We're always happy to hear from you. This is your show. This is for you to know what's going on within the city and with Mayor Rosas' administration. Before we get started, we have a quick question. A resident called and asked about the ladders on the pier. And the ladders on the pier are part of the pier project, and we'll have Rebecca Yanus, our Director of Planning and Development, speak to that eventually. But that's going to happen. The ladders will be replaced. So with that, Rebecca's our Director of Planning and Development. You have a huge job ahead of you, and what you have done so far. You've been with the city now for what, a year and a half?
2 years now. Yeah.
2 years. Wow.
2 years. A lot of great things have happened, and thank you for having me on the show today. I'm excited to give all the updates.
Well, good, because we want to hear about it. There is so much going on with the city of Dunkirk. I mean, we've got construction everywhere. We have building coming in. We've got new things happening every single day, it seems like. And so you have worked very hard with your crew, with your staff in the development department, with Mayor Rosas. We have gotten millions of dollars in grants because of your combined effort with the mayor and his team, and you and your team. So let's just start off. We've got a lot of things happening. The big one, of course, is what's going on Central Avenue. Every corner is dug up. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's really exciting. That project is a part of our Central Connection project. It's lumped in with our Smart Growth funding, the $2.5 million that we received last year. And what that includes is we're doing intersection improvements at the 4 intersections that you're seeing dug up right now. It also includes repaving of all of the city's Central Avenue, and it includes bike lanes, banners, and signage to kind of unify the city of Dunkirk with the college and the village of Fredonia. So we'll be doing an integrated banner system and some signage to really get people moving back and forth throughout our 2 communities and getting more of the college students to come downtown to Dunkirk.
Right. So we talk about downtown, to come downtown. And so we have a lot going on. We've got things that are happening. Our comprehensive plan that you've been spearheading and working on.
Yes, yep.
Tell me a little bit, how is our downtown structure? How is that a part of the comprehensive plan?
Yeah, so the comprehensive plan plays a huge role in what we want to see for our future within our downtown and central business district and all over the city. But specifically when we think about our downtown, we're taking our goals and vision for the future and really putting that into our plan. So any recommendations and impacts that our community wants to see in the downtown will be included within that comprehensive plan, and we'll be developing certain projects that we want to see within our downtown as well that will be able to be utilized for going after grant funding to implement those projects. So it's so important for the future of Dunkirk.
And now you had a couple of meetings. You had where residents could come in, they could fill out questionnaires, surveys, drop them off to give them an idea. And you've had one meeting so far with our business leaders. What's the next step?
The next step is we're going to be holding another community workshop this fall. We'll also be recirculating the surveys. We got a really great outcome. We got roughly 200 surveys completed, and we have that data, but we want to get a little more input, so we'll be putting out the surveys one more time. And really what the next workshop will be focusing on is identifying certain projects in the city. So we want to hear community input. We want to see, hey, maybe at this corner we'd like to see some improved benches, some park features here, or hey, at the parcel across from City Hall, we think that should be rebuilt, and do a mixed use projects there, so that can guide the future of what kind of funding we're going after to implement those projects. So it's going to be very workshop oriented and community project driven, the next workshops.
And we have business leaders or community leaders who are involved in this process.
Yes, definitely. We're holding multiple stakeholder groups to hear from our education side of things, from transportation to local businesses and improving the jobs in our economy and growing our economy. We have a waterfront sector, and are just really focusing on what those stakeholder groups bring to the table and what they want to see the future of Dunkirk, what it looks like.
So now you mentioned the waterfront, and the
Yes.
waterfront, of course, that's our jewel sitting here.
Right.
Things that we're doing to develop that. That includes the pier.
Yes.
So where are we with that pier project?
So the pier project is in the development stages. Our consultants are currently working on the design for that now. By the end of the fall, we should have a completed design that we'll be sharing with the public. And then this winter, we'll be putting together the plans and documents to go out to bid. And in the spring, we'll be hiring the contractors to start work. So spring of 2019, you should be starting to see construction on the pier. The project also includes the intersection of Lakeshore and Central. So that intersection will be redone with an additional grant that we received through DOT for $50,000. So that will be a huge impact on the safety of people coming across Lakeshore Drive, and also just a better connectivity to our waterfront. The mayor, when I first came on, really wanted us to focus on our waterfront because that's our main asset. That's the attraction that's going to get developers here. And developers like to see communities putting work into public projects and investment into public infrastructure. So that's why the pier and Central Avenue are so important to investing in and improving on. Developers like to see that people are attracted to those assets, and that's why we're really pushing improvements to the waterfront, and now we're going to be working on Central Avenue.
So really by developing the Central Avenue, our business district, the waterfront, the pier, those are things that people look for when they're going to come in, whether they're going to move to the area or create a business in the area.
Yes.
So those things are really vital. We've talked about the hotel. Tell me about it.
Yes. Currently, it's under lease agreements where we're working on the lease for the hotel site. We are also doing our own due diligence on the site. So the site needs a phase 1 and a phase 2 environmental assessment. We completed our phase 1, and we have received funding through the EPA to do the phase 2. So that one will be able to get done. Funding will be coming in September 30th. So we'll be starting that very shortly. And that just gives us a better general knowledge of what the site's conditions are. The site is known as a brownfield site. There was once a gas station on the site, so we want to know soil testings and what's on that soil. And what's so important about that being a brownfield site is that we were just designated a BOA community, a brownfield opportunity area community. And that specifically allows us to gain an extra 5% for incentives to redevelop on the site. So we get 5% extra tax credits for a developer that comes in and develops on a brownfield site, such as that hotel site. So it's a huge incentive to bring people to Dunkirk, bring developers to Dunkirk to develop those brownfield sites. And in total, we have 15 sites throughout the city. A lot of them are focused around our downtown and our waterfront. So it's a huge positive that we can put out there to developers.
So now we talk about the brownfield, the designation, the BOA designation, how we get that. And that comes from a lot of hard work. That comes from meeting with our elected officials. That comes from the mayor making trip after trip to Albany, from your the position that you're in, where you continue to put these things together. So it's not just something, when we talk about money coming into the city of Dunkirk, when we talk about these grants or these designations, these are things that really do help our taxpayers because they help to hold our taxes down. So, you know, you have worked very hard for that. That is really good news.
Yeah. The brownfield plan, the BOA plan, was started in 2013, and it's taken a while to actually implement it, but we finished it, we completed it last spring, and now we're seeing those benefits. So that BOA plan really guided our grant writing and going for different grant applications. the Downtown Revitalization Initiative that we put in for last year helped win us the 2.5 million that we're doing for peer improvements. So it's so important that you have a foundation in your planning work and have good projects within those plans to write the grants, to get the funding, to actually implement the projects. So a lot of people think that we're just getting money. It's a long process. And then development is a long process, but we're finally seeing those things working, and having that comprehensive plan is just another piece in the puzzle with all your plans that really helps guide the future. So it's so important that you have a good foundation with the planning.
And so now with the comprehensive plan, we've also received money to help with that through grants. Is that correct?
Yes. So that is all grant funded through the Department of State and some other avenues that we're pulling from, but completely funded through grant programs. Yes.
Tell me about the zombie properties. We've had, and this was just showcased again in the newspaper the other day.
Yes.
How is that coming along?
Yeah, so the zombie properties are another piece that the mayor obviously wants to focus on, not only the waterfront and the central business district, but he wants to rebuild Dunkirk's neighborhoods and get them up to how they used to be, the great shape that they used to be. So what we were able to do is we won funding 125,000 to do a study, a zombie property study, which basically took a survey of all of the city of Dunkirk's housing stock, and then that let us be able to map that. So we kind of designated it into five different sectors. You had your red areas, your orange areas, your yellow, and then your green, so four. And those red areas are kind of your worst neighborhoods. Your orange and yellow are the ones that you want to work towards, and then the green are the best neighborhoods. And what the plan is called is Choosing Dunkirk. It's actually available online, www.choosingdunkirk.com. And we're able to focus on how do we take those orange neighborhoods that are about to turn red, how do we get some funding for those to make them turn yellow and green. So it's not saying forget about the red neighborhoods, but if you improve your orange neighborhoods, the red starts to see that and starts to make smaller improvements as well. So the focus really is on those neighborhoods that could go red, if you kind of understand
sure.
that. So that's what we've been looking into, and we've recently hired some attorney help to help with some of those zombie properties that are under bank ownership or that are kind of in a foreclosure state that we can get a hold of and be able to sell or demo if they're in the worst shape that it's not inhabitable anymore. So that's what our next step is the legal side of things, because it is a lot of work to get control of those zombie properties and help a neighborhood grow.
Right. So beautification, we think about that. We think, oh, that's just fluff. That's just aesthetics. But it really is, because when people want to move into a neighborhood, they want a neighborhood that's attractive.
Right.
And so by cleaning these up and making them better, that's going to help with our housing stock, because we really are kind of limited as to what we have.
Right.
So we need to be able to fix that if we can.
Exactly.
We have a lot of other things going on. We have our public projects that are going on. Certainly our parks. We cannot leave out the parks.
Oh yeah.
So and the one that gets a lot of attention these days, of course, is the dog park.
Right.
Give me an update.
We're working on it. So right now we are actually going to be putting out notification that we're going to be accepting bids on putting in a driveway and a parking lot and clearing some of the trees at the dog park. Our goal is to get that done by the end of this fall. So we're going to be aggressively tackling that this year. And I want to thank the community and all of our donations that came in to fund the dog park, Purina, agricultural transport, all those big donations that we received, and then the individual donations as well. So thank you so much for that. We're going to be making that happen this fall.
So are we still taking donations, and how do people donate if they want to?
We are still taking donations, and people can either send checks to our office. We're at 338 Central Avenue, or they can come in and just drop off a donation. Checks can be made out to the DLDC/City of Dunkirk Dog Park. We have a specific fund line set up for that within the DLDC. And the reason we do it through the DLDC is allowed to accept donations. The city cannot. So that's our avenue for that. And everyone that donates will be receiving recognition on signage. If you donate $250 or more, you get your own individual sign with you can customize it with a picture of your dog in memory of, or Lucky, the best dog we ever had, or something like that, something cute. And then those signs will be lining our dog park fencing. We'll also have benches at the dog park, little dog stations, and the possibility of getting some water there as well. So that will be a part of our bid that we go out to.
So I can come in with a picture of my dog Sam and put him up there.
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
well that's good.
Definitely.
We'll try to make that happen. We also have some other things that are going on. We have a lot of things happening in the private development area.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit, what's going on there? What are we doing to bring people in?
Yes, so we're really excited about the villas at Battery Point. When we talk about housing and different housing choices, those are going to be some really great high-end apartments, basically kitty corner to where Phoenix is on Route 5. That will be starting shortly. Private development as an agricultural transport is a new business that's going to be coming into the city. They just purchased the Franklin Avenue building, old office building. I believe it was Cott's old office building on Franklin. And that's a really exciting adventure that's going to be starting. We also have some private development at the marina that's going to be happening shortly. Charles Pringle is going to be doing some investment there. So the next planning board, you might be seeing some plans for that. And then we're just working on trying to develop some development packets to go out to developers to say, hey, we have these properties available. Please, come out and we'll be happy to show you them and what are the benefits, here are the incentives that we offer. So,
and now one of those, of course, is the cold storage warehouse on Roberts Road.
Thank you. Yep.
And that's one that the property that they're building was on a brownfield site.
Exactly.
So tell me, how did all of this transpire, and what benefit is it for the cold storage warehouse as well as for the city to have them build there?
Well, it's a huge benefit for not only the city, but for Fieldbrook Foods as well. With this cold storage warehouse, Fieldbrook Foods will be able to free up space within their property to allow to increase the development of food products in Fieldbrook. So that will be a huge impact to their business, and then they'll be able to offer cold storage not only for their property but for local businesses as well. It's going to be a really large facility that will house many of its products that are currently taking up space at Fieldbrook. So that means a bigger production line and more employees that they can hire. The cold storage warehouse is going to bring in 50 jobs. So it's a huge impact to the economy and to Fieldbrook Foods.
Right. And so with the Fieldbrook Foods, of course, they manufacture ice cream.
Yes.
So that's something that's near and dear to my heart.
Yes, definitely.
So they do the ice cream. So that's going to help them, and certainly it's going to help with our economy because we'll have more jobs.
Yes.
And the cold storage warehouse, because that was a brownfield site, there's an incentive for them to come in.
Exactly.
And the government, so because of the brownfield funds that they're getting,
Yes.
That's really helpful. So
yeah, we worked with the county. Those were county-owned properties, so we were lucky enough to work with the county and the developers on that project. We have great developers that are well-versed in the brownfield cleanup and revitalizing and rebuilding on brownfield sites. So the redevelopment of that brownfield site has been able to give them those extra credits to build. So it's a huge boost.
Right, it is. So those things are really important, and that's a real good marketing tool to bring in people.
Exactly.
And of course, we talk about the grants and the money that you've worked on, mm-hmm. and there has been a great deal. Certainly, we have, with all of the different things that have happened, we have the parks, we have the Smart Growth Fund. What other kinds of things are out there that you're working on now?
Yeah, so this past July, the end of July, we had our consolidated funding applications. That's New York State's grant applications that are available. And we put in for 3 grants this past year. One is a phase 2 of Wright Park. So within the Wright Park budget that we had previously, we weren't able to accomplish everything that we wanted there. So we put in for an additional grant to complete some playground space and some additional pieces that were left out. We're hoping for that. The state likes to see that you've implemented a project and that you can build on it. So fingers crossed that we get funded for that. The second one includes a Main Street grant along Central Avenue. So we went for funding to help building facades along Central. And that will be announced at the end of December if we're able to get that. We've partnered with 4 property owners and multiple sites along Central that we're looking to hopefully improve facade on. And then the third grant is a Market New York grant for a tourism-related project, our boat races, the Grand Prix. We obviously want to bring that back to the city, and all of our special events, all of our festivals are completely reliable on funding through donation. So we want to thank all of our businesses, all the local contributors that bring in that funding, because without that, it wouldn't happen. And that's why we have to run festivals and events through our DLDC, because it is built solely on donation base. And we want to bring back the local races, the boat races to the city. So we went for some grant funding for the next 3 years for the boat races.
Wow. And you know, when I was there at the boat races, it was just phenomenal. And
Yes.
we have to take a minute here and talk about our festivals and about our special events coordinator and festivals coordinator, Hector Rosas. And I know, you know, give or take what anybody might think, this man really does a fantastic job. And our Music on the Pier has grown. And Music on the Pier, all of those things, we have sponsorships, whether they're any of our local sponsorships, you know, Lakeshore Savings. I just could not even begin to rattle all of them out. There's DFT Communications, and I'm sure there are many, many more that I don't know about or can't remember. But because we have the sponsorships and because everything is run through DLDC, that kind of gives us a level of protection from the city. And DLDC now, the way that's handled, that they audit, right? They're audited.
Yes. We have a yearly audit, a yearly review of all of our accounts. Everything is available online. We just finished up our 2017 audits, so those will be available online shortly. And then we give, at the end of the year, an update on all of our accounts. So once festival and events are done, which we'll be finishing up after our Small Business Saturday in November, then we'll be able to give a detailed account of that entire year, 2018's entire year of festivals. Under the DLDC, there's also the Farmers Market, which again is relied on sponsorship and donation. Chautauqua County Health Network gives us a grant every year to help fund the Farmers Market, which has grown substantially in the past few years. And then, as I said, the dog park, we also included that through the DLDC. And then we have a general fund. We're also trying to work on bringing back the small business loan program to the DLDC. So that's something that we really want to invest in our local businesses. We want to bring new business to Dunkirk. So we're working right now on being able to open a new loan program through the DLDC as well.
And that would just be for small businesses?
Yes.
So if somebody wanted to open up a bookstore,
yes,
that would work.
Definitely. Right? And existing businesses can apply for it as well. So new and existing is what we're hoping to accomplish, and more on that once it's available. But we're working on that. Yes.
So, you know, when we talk about the Planning and Development Department, I mean, I don't know if people just think you're just sitting there with a little map, but there is a lot going on in your department. You are one busy lady, and you have a staff, not a big staff.
Yes, but a great staff.
But a part of that includes our CDBG, our Community Development Block Grant
Yes.
situation. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, so we are an entitlement community, and that means that we receive funds through HUD, Housing and Urban Development, through the federal agency. This year we were able to secure $480,000 through projects that remove blight, that help communities, that help infrastructure. Right now, I know our DPW department is working on one CDBG project specific to Seal Streets, getting fire protection there, and then paving on that, similar to what we did at Hoyt Street. So we're working on that. We're also going to be working on some sidewalk improvement projects. We also fund programs like Striders. CRIC has a home ownership program that's funded through CDBG.
Now, what is CRIC?
CRIC is Chautauqua Housing and Rehab. I'm blanking on the acronym, but they help with different home ownership and home repair projects throughout Chautauqua County, but the grants that they receive through CDBG are specific to Dunkirk. So their home ownership program for first-time home buyers is specific to buying a house in Dunkirk, which is a wonderful program. And if you're interested, please reach out to us. We can help you with that.
So now, is that income-based?
It is somewhat income-based, and also they do a credit check. They do a lot of checks that go into it, but really it's education-driven. They want you to be educated on how to purchase this home. They walk you through the whole entire process, and then they also give you some closing costs that are funded through the CDBG program. So they help with that to get someone into a home, to be a homeowner.
And we have a CDBG administrator.
Yes, Matt Burke. He does an amazing job. And like I said, any questions on any CDBG projects that we have, please reach out to him. He's been a huge help to the city.
And now you mentioned the farmers market, and City Speaks was at the farmers market a couple of weeks ago. It was really interesting. It was very, to go out there and to see all the people and see all the farmers.
Yes.
And the farmers market is going to stay open as long as they can, but at
Right.
least through the end of October if possible.
Yes.
Because it's weather involved.
Yes.
Right. And then we come back next year.
Exactly.
So it is growing. So that's a
yes,
good thing.
this year we've extended the season to the longest I believe it's ever been. So that's huge for getting fresh, healthy foods to our residents, and we're really proud of that.
And the farmers market also accepts the EBT cards. It accepts the,
Yes.
all the different things that low-income families might need or might have. It
Yes.
has a SNAP program. So those things are going on. So those things are happening. So we really have a lot going on in our city, not just for our infrastructure, but recreationally and socially.
Yep.
All of the things that are happening, it's really phenomenal. So you and your team are really working hard. So kudos to you. Good
Thank
job.
you so much,
Good
and thanks
job.
for having me again. It was fun.
well, that's good. Anytime we'd love to. And the residents want to know. Residents want to know what's going on. So these are things that are important, and it's important to know. And Mayor Rosas is absolutely committed to making sure that the residents, the business owners, the employees of the city of Dunkirk are informed, that we have total transparency within his administration, and we're really working toward that goal. So City Speaks is out here. We're here for you, for the residents. We're going to be doing some other things in the city. We've got some filming that's been going on. We've had two production companies come in and do two different kind of filmings. We're going to be bringing those in. They want to talk to us, let us know that certainly we're not a Hollywood, but it's kind of exciting to know that there's a film crew in town. We'll be talking with them. We're also going to have some of our parks people on. We're looking forward to doing a ride along with our city street supervisor, Mike Propiglia, to see what's happening with that area too. So those things are happening on City Speaks. For comments, for questions, anything you want to know about, this is the mayor's administration. He wants to make sure you know what's happening. Send your comments, send your questions to me, Vicki Westling, 342 Central Avenue, Dunkirk 14048. Email me at vwestling@cityofdunkirk.com. You may call me direct, 363-6888. We'll take your calls, we'll answer your questions, and thank you for watching City Speaks, and thank you, Rebecca. Glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Take care.